Shortwave radio stations are full of strange signals, but one broadcast never stopped. Ethan was a radio enthusiast, fascinated by old transmission frequencies. He spent nights scanning the airwaves, listening for forgotten broadcasts, military codes, or lost signals. One night, he found something different, a voice, repeating numbers. At first, it seemed like a standard numbers station, one of those cryptic Cold War relics that broadcast seemingly random codes. But the voice was wrong. It was too clear, too close, like someone was speaking directly into the microphone, just on the other side of static. 7, 6, 4, 1. Then a pause. Ethan, his own name. Ethan's fingers tightened around the radio dial. He twisted the knob, searching for interference, some logical explanation. But the voice remained, unwavering. His breath caught in his throat. He scrambled to switch channels, but the numbers followed him. Every frequency. The numbers changed, shifting in slow, deliberate tones. He scribbled them down, his hands shaking. When he decoded them, they formed an address. His address. He backed away from the desk, pulse hammering in his ears. The static shifted, deepening into something more like breathing. Low, ragged. Then came the knock at the door. 3 slow, deliberate taps. The apartment was silent. No footsteps in the hall, no shadows beneath the door, just the sound of his own breath and the steady hum of the radio. Another knock. Louder this time. He stood frozen, unable to move. The numbers continued in the background, distorted, stretching into something almost melodic. A long, dragging sound scraped across his floor. Not outside. Inside. The radio crackled violently. The voice was no longer distant. It was in the room. The power flickered. Shadows stretched unnaturally long. Something moved in the corner of his vision. A shape, tall, unmoving, watching. He reached for his phone, hands trembling, but the screen was filled with static. The numbers continued, cycling faster, overlapping in layers that no longer sounded like speech, but something alive. A metallic shriek erupted from the speakers. The apartment door creaked open an inch, despite the chain lock. Ethan turned toward it, paralyzed. Then the radio hissed its final transmission. You should not have listened. Ethan's apartment was found empty the next day. The radio was still on. The frequency was silent. But sometimes, late at night, a new voice comes through the static, reading your name. Some broadcasts are not meant to be heard. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe, and turn on notifications. But if the radio ever calls your name, turn it off.